I'm very thankful for my mom. She will bring everything. She will give me the best food. She will give me the best education. Like all the lessons I got is through my mother.
Shout out to our sponsor, Local Cold Brew Coffee. Welcome to Book BFFs, the show that celebrates wonderful people and the books they're inspired by. I am here today with the talented Kristina Makushenko. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. How does it feel to be a 4-time world champion in synchronized swimming?
You know, this is the part I usually get shy to tell for the people. Yeah, usually I get questioned, have I ever done any kind of sport? But, you know, back then, the most I was like trying to do this to get that medal. So like all the tears, all the sweat, all those hours in the pool, up to 10 hours a day, was for that medal and pedestal. So I'm proud of it, I guess.
Nice. So how do people know you today for those that don't follow you or know your journey?
So they mostly know me for my underwater videos. That 2 years ago during the COVID, I was like, okay, what I can do, played around with my shoes, put on the heels, did some dancing underwater, then included just the regular shoes, did my moonwalk underwater, and that's how it started a few years ago.
Wow. So this book that you have here today, Moonwalk by Michael Jackson, what made you choose this book?
Well, I would say a year ago, I was like, okay, what else I can do underwater that people haven't done? So I was looking online on YouTube videos, and then I saw it was a trend to do moonwalk underwater. I'm like, how can I transform that into the underwater part? So then I read the book, and I tried to analyze the details exactly how he was doing it. Had to practice a couple hours, did only a few takes, put it on social media, got viral with 50 million views, and that's that.
Wow. Are you a huge Michael Jackson fan?
I am. I love his songs. They inspire me. I can listen them on my way, like in the evening, at night, at home. I listen them nonstop. They're my best, like, favorite songs that I like by him to get ideas for my next videos.
So what's your favorite song by Michael Jackson?
Thriller, I would say. And yeah, the Thriller part. I haven't done yet underwater full choreography. I think, yes, it's quite long, but I think one day I will do it.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into synchronized swimming?
So I came from not athletic family, but naturally I was gifted with the hyper flexibility. And when I was 5, 6 years old, my posture pretty much was kind of start curving because I have a very flexible back. And my parents, well, actually I would say my grandmother, she wanted to put me into the regular swimming. I started doing that. And when, you know, every time also my back, my shoulder will roll all the way to the back. Yeah, I can do these things too. Yes, and then the coach like, oh, she's hyper flexible. Don't do that.
I know, I'm like,
don't do that.
Not happening over here.
Yeah, and she took me on the pool deck, tried to do all the splits. She saw some talent, told my mom. We had like a community with swimming, synchronized swimming, and regular diving. To try out, my mom took me. She asked me what I want to do. And synchronized swimming, now it's called artistic swimming. It's dance in the water, and obviously I said artistic swimming. And then I switched into the artistic. And swimming I did for just a couple months.
Wow. So how did you enter the Russian national team?
So first I just, and I was 6 years old, just for fun with my age group. That's a very important part. I was swimming only for, again, couple months. Then I got upgraded to 8 and 7 years old, which they already way stronger were than me, but the coach saw, I guess, potential in me. I'm naturally very floatable and flexible. And then by end of that season, I did competition with 8 and under, which I was only 6 back then. And I got all 4 gold medals, which I didn't even know. I mean, I know what medals mean, but I just came, I remember downstairs, Mama, I have all the medals. And that's how it's all started. I always was with the older group of kids than my age. So I guess that way I got more stronger because I was training how they were training instead of my age group.
Wow. So did you retire from synchronized swimming right now?
Yes, when I moved to the United States, unfortunately, I had to retire. Yes. Wow. But when I did it, I started first just coaching. Then I became coach of national team. I did national development camps. It was like, I think, 5 years ago. And now currently, actually, my main work is I train kids, private lessons for swimming and synchronized swimming. And whoever kids want to try for a national team, they come to me here in Florida. Some of them, they drove 5 hours. There was a girl, she would drive every weekend 5 hours for me. And I do lessons.
Wow, that's amazing. So what's like the secret of synchronized swimming? Like, how are you guys all so cohesive?
Well, you know, it depends which, like all of us girls like different parts of synchronized swimming. So for me, I always been a soloist and I love to express myself. Like most hits will be in front of audience. When I'm by myself, I don't have that power, like that fire in me to show off that dance. I love to dance, but I want to note I never had even one dance lesson. So when I come out, I will do a solo. I can express fully myself, like, and I will look into judges' eyes. That's very important in my routines. When I do solo, I have to connect with them. So always when I'm in front of the audience, I can put it all out. But once you put me by myself, I'm not the same person.
Can you connect with the camera real quick? Can you give him a nice little look in the camera? Yes, mommy. That was so good. I'm a professional dancer. I've toured the world with different artists. So it's really interesting to hear you say you do all this movement underwater and yet you've never had a dance class.
I've done ballet, but still what I like, I've done ballet videos underwater too, but I like Spanish music, even though I don't speak Spanish, but it's like
sensual.
It's like all those attitudes. I love it. Just give me heels, give me dress, bathing suit underwater, I'm gone.
Wow. So it's really cool because with this book, Michael Jackson starts from his childhood, right? And how basically he started with the Jackson 5 and how he's evolved into his own independent artist, right? For you, how was that evolution in your career?
When I was reading the book, in some ways, obviously I'm not Michael Jackson, but I saw myself, like he was saying, he would see some kids on the street will do some dances. Then when other kids have to do lessons in order to do that, he would copy right after. And then at the kitchen at night, he will try to choreograph himself. That's what I was doing. I would see someone, older girl, I would say 5-10 years old older, back when I was a child in Synchronized, she will do that element. In my age, it's impossible to do. And then during the weekend, when I don't have my practices, I will come to the pool with my mom by myself. I will do once, twice. I will have like that old video camera. I remember she will record me and show me how I did it. And this is almost same as hers. And you need to have a knowledge to do it, but I just was doing it by myself. I cannot even explain it.
No,
I'm like, I think I should do that. And then I show my coach, she's like, who told you? I'm like, no one. And that's a lot of things, even during this, like I'm 28 years old right now, even till this day, a lot of things I can do that way and I don't have explanation.
Right. And that's what Michael Jackson talks about, how a lot of it is natural instinct that comes to him. He says the stage was my education, right? So it's really cool that sometimes when you trust that like human instinct to create, it brings wonders versus a teacher like telling you this is the way it has to be done because you have more free way if you're a solo artist.
When I'm a solo, when I thought, like if someone tells me what to do, pretty much I cannot come up from the first take. Like, I don't know. I like to be in my own area. And like, in this book, he was saying, like, I will just say these things, like, he always been by himself. He didn't had a lot of friends. Maybe some people were not understanding. It's same with me. I have only like on fingers couple of best friends. And it's hard for me to connect because I'm like always in my own world. Sometimes people would not understand even some things I'm trying, but it's okay.
So did you feel like misunderstood growing up?
A lot of times it was. Like even like in sport, when I already got to the higher level to world championships, it's not related to the book, but there have been some moments when I will take first place and then we'll go to the camp and girls will lock me in a room just because I got that first place. I've been through those things as well. And I would ask my mom, and they all knew, like, I need 5 minutes to get this element. They need a couple hours to make it perfect. And then, Mom, why this happened? And she couldn't really explain me why. Like, there's been those things as well. I will get locked, or like my competition suit will be cut out. I'm from a very like big professional sport. So, even then I would cry every day probably at the practice because I was very tired, but it made me a stronger person, like who I am now. So I'm thankful. No regrets that I used to swim 6 hours a week, up to 10 hours a day. No regrets.
Wow. So how did you overcome like maybe people trying to sabotage you in the process of you winning a medal?
I would, I'm a Gemini, so I would say yes, I am.
Gemini, okay.
I would get very upset. That's it, end of the world that day. But then I will just like, okay, calm down. My mom will talk to me. I'm very thankful for my mom because my stepfather, he was not living with us at that time. So like all the lessons I got is through my mother. So she will explain me why, well, maybe you told them. She will try to put it that way, not that they're like not happy for me. So I will like get over it in a couple of days and then we all were friends again.
Wow, that's
I wasn't like as a child, I didn't have that I'm going to be mad at them till the rest of my like athletic career. No, just a couple of days and I'm good.
And it's interesting that you say that because Michael Jackson's person was his dad growing up, teaching him everything that he knew. Might have not had the best relationship with him, but definitely was the person that taught him music, that helped him grow as a businessman. Would you say your mom was that person for you?
Yes, like same. I'm not from very wealthy family, but everything my mom will give me the best food, so I have more energy during my practices. My mom, again, she has nothing to do with the sport. She was like, okay, 6 days a week, I'm gonna take. She was she didn't work, but she would take me in the morning, almost 1 hour to the school with a backpack for school. Then I'm at school, she will go back home. Then she get another backpack for my synchronized swimming team, bring it to my school. The school backpack left at school at that day. And then we'll go with to the practice. She will wait for me for like 5 up to 8 hours a day downstairs and take me back home. She will bring everything. She will give me the best food. She will give me the best education. I had to miss a lot of school. So she would save money to give me a private teacher, which is, again, she would give me only details that kids study within 1 or 2 months. I need only one lesson. I'll get all the details, and then I can do that math exam with, you guys have A, B. I will get an A or a B with only one lesson.
That's so cool. I relate 100%. My dance career that I've been able to create has literally been because my mom has took me to like all these dance lessons.
No, if not her, I don't know where I would be now.
Exactly. Do you hear that? Any parents listening to this, support your kids. Support your kids. You have to. Look at what you can create. World champions and kids living their dreams at the end of the day.
Because like when I was swimming all the time, I didn't have time when I becoming a teenager, the parties, this and that, not good things. I've never tried them. Same Michael Jackson was saying, he never tried any. I tried alcohol, but I think last time I drank anything, it was like 8 years ago. It's not because I'm trying to be healthy. I just don't like it. During those years when everyone were trying, I was swimming them out, and I've never tried anything that's not good for your health.
Yes, let's talk about that. That was one thing I read in the book that I was like, wait, what?
Yes, I've never tried anything in my, never.
Right, but Michael was saying, I've never drank, I've never smoked weed, I've never done cocaine. He stayed away from all those kinds of drugs because he didn't want them to ruin him and what he was building.
And during that age, I overtrained, and now I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. If I need to, like, I don't know, clear my mind, again, I'm getting my heels, my goggles, I go underwater, play around. I record also, by the way, myself on the tripod. I want to point that out.
Wow.
Then I look what I've done, and that's how I get that switch up in my mind. And yeah.
So what inspires you when you're creating all this art?
I would say music. Music is number one. And I would look some Circus du Soleil circus acrobatic tricks that I can, on land it's impossible, most likely to do unless you're a circus performer, and I will do them underwater. But I would say music. On repeat, nonstop, 10, 15 times, same song.
Something else I read in the book that I was not aware of, that the moonwalk had already existed. He didn't create that move. He saw it on the streets and the kids doing it, and then he went perfected it.
He perfected it.
And then his performance at Motown 25 for their 25th anniversary, when he did that performance, was when everybody was like, whoa, who's that? And he didn't even want to do that performance originally. Was there ever a time where you had a performance that you didn't want to do and you ended up doing it and it worked out even better than you imagined?
My videos or when I was in sport?
Both.
In sport, I've had, again, music is number one for me. So there was a problem one time with my coach picking up the music. So we picked up, I have to follow as a child, like in my sport, I cannot say yes, I cannot say no for my coach. So there was 1 year, pretty much always tried to get first places. I was not feeling the music. The movements we did, they were good. The music, I couldn't. So that was one time when I didn't even took first or second, third place because I was just like a robot performing to what I've been taught, in which I never liked someone tells me what exactly to do. I like this music, I like these movements. And every time I would choose the music, I would get my first place. And same with the videos. When I work with the brands, they tell me right now these days which music and which movements. Even if I try to disagree, they will tell me, I know that video ended up not performing well. When I have a whole control, which music, which movements, everything, it's always performing well so far, thankfully.
That's insane. Going back to trusting that instinct. And Michael talks about that, right?
And if I don't like, it's not going to happen. Same like he was saying in a book.
Right. He was saying towards the end of the book, he was reaching a point in his career when he wanted his team to trust his instincts, but they didn't, because
And yeah.
it was like, we want you to perform this song. We want you to do the record like this. We want to produce it like this. They didn't even let him write his own lyrics.
Like, I need to feel it. If I fake it and I try to make it my best, it's never performing well.
Yeah.
Like with me, I want this way, not because I'm trying to like take over a situation or something, but when I trust myself, that's when it all comes out.
How do you train for learning how to do synchronized swimming underwater?
First, you have to have abilities regular swimming, all 4 strokes. Then they tell everything actually goes from the land. On land, they explain us, let's say ballet leg, we lay down on our back, one leg up, one leg here. They explain you how to do the arms to feel your body, and then you try to transform it underwater. But it's very hard. I think synchronized swimming is the most complicated, hard sport, can't even be there. Because it's ballet, it's gymnastics, it's underwater. Even now, free diving, we have to have a full breath control, like all of it. We have like pretty much, I think, 6 sports in one. And you have to be good on all of them.
In that, what's been the hardest thing you've had to overcome?
The strength part, because I'm always been taller than the girls on my team. One of the tallest, I would say. And since I'm tall, when it's flexibility movements, I will do higher than everyone. But when I have to take my long legs out of water, I will have kind of lower height than most of the girls. So that's the hardest part for me.
Wow.
Strength for me.
So I really got to know this, because
Okay.
it looks really hard, and I love dancing in heels. How do you do heels underwater?
I want to say on land, I barely can walk on the heels. But underwater, I think I'm a queen of it. Let's go this way.
How?
I can't. Underwater, you know, like, it doesn't matter what you're going to put, you're not going to feel with the gravity. The most hardest part, one of my videos was, it was a catwalk, I called it. I walked across the pool halfway, then I flipped and continued on the bottom of the pool. And I also put a purse so then more people can ask why there's a purse. In order to understand if it's fake or not, I put the purse at the bottom of the pool. I put the heels. I had to perfect my walk so then the heels are not going to stick out of the surface. So that had to take me a lot of takes. And I record myself, so I'll do like 5 takes, look at the video, wrong, 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 wrong. But anyways, I got it perfect. The easiest spot was on the floor. But for that, I have to say, all of the videos, I exhale almost 80% of air out of my lungs in order to stick to the bottom. Because I want to point out, I don't wear any weights in my body when I do my videos. No weights.
Wow.
Because then I cannot properly move my arms. Because a lot of people make fun, why do I flip my arms like that all the time? But that's how I balance my body. I'm assuming regular people go underwater, they cannot be straight. But because of my sport, I can be. But all the tricks I do, I perfect it because that's not my sport. It's very complicated.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
If I go into it, it's very complicated.
But it's really interesting. It's its own form of a specific sport that just not anybody can do.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know, with the heels, it's always like when I do my videos, people ask, why is she wearing heels? Why is she doing that? Because now I used to do with a swimming cap and everything. Now I wear clothing, heels, purses, everything you can imagine. I can work out underwater. Even I did a couple months ago with the nunchucks. Got into the martial arts, which I'm not a martial art person. I look how the videos are done. I have natural flexibility, and I try to do it underwater.
For anybody listening who wants to gain flexibility, what would you tell them?
You have to be consistent. Because again, I coach girls for synchronized swimming as well, as I said previously. So consistency. Like one time I can come and stretch her and her split will be better. But muscles are like rubber. If you skip one day, pretty much if your goal is and you don't have a split on the floor, you will have to stretch at least a little bit, 10, 15 minutes a day. If you do a couple days and then you skip, you're going to go back to where you were. It doesn't require a lot of hours, but you have to be consistent.
Yeah. What was one of the greatest lessons you've learned from this book?
Trust your instinct. You're never going to be wrong. Not what people tell you, because when Michael turned 21, he was always with his father, and then he left his team and he wanted to be on his own. So far, my instinct never lied to me. Sometimes, as I said, I'm Gemini. I can be, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not? But when I'm like, okay, I go by myself at the beach, that's what I usually do, and think about it all, just what I think.
Moving forward.
Yes. Even my mom, I would try to listen to myself. Because if I'm wrong, I will blame me, not someone else.
Right. And you've mentioned your mom was a huge part of your career. How did your whole family partake to be able to help contribute to your success?
I have a very small family, so my grandmother will always cook at home. My mom will take me to all of my lessons, and my stepfather will help us financially because my mom, she had a bad accident before I was born, so she can't. She's healthy, but she can't really do any work like standing for a long time. So she will take me to my work, my stepfather financially, and my grandma will
Nice.
cook.
I love it. You
That's
got a nice little team set up for you.
I have a small family, but they all support in my
Yeah.
journey. Ever since I got my first 4 gold medals.
Wow, that's beautiful. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Western Europe.
And what brought you to the States?
When I was a child, my mom met my stepfather, and we moved to Atlanta for 4 years. So when I was 6, I didn't spoke my language, Russian language at all. And then we went to back, and then I started doing my sport. What I like that it's a free country and you have more abilities. Where I'm from, most of would say what we have to do, and you have to go with the crowd, and that's what everyone thinks. But here, you actually can be yourself. Like right now, when I do videos, I've heard a lot of comments. Oh, you should go to work instead of doing this. But then at the same time, my community, my followers, always supporting me. Like if they will see some negative like comments in my post, they will always support me that I have to do what I love because now it's became my work as well.
So how have you been able to capitalize on art?
So first, I've never stopping to coach my kids because that's my stability. Social media, I personally at the stage, I cannot rely on it. It's good, but it doesn't get me what exactly I want. So I've now actually started working with the hotels and travel companies because I used to do only underwater. And then I invented something also with the heels with my legs out of the water. So pretty much synchronized swimming. And then I've had right now like one campaign with Las Vegas. So it was like a kick, like you do a split rotation transition, which is very popular on social medias. So I went to the 6 different hotels, 1-2 seconds each clip, same movement. The clip was for 6 seconds, and it's also went viral within like 1 million views.
Wow.
So and for that, I also got paid and I traveled. So now I'm trying to do more actually of the ocean videos. So now I can do more around the world traveling because I love to travel. I love new experiences.
Michael Jackson says a lot of fun facts towards the end, right? Towards the end of the book. And he mentions that monkeys are his absolute favorite.
He had a monkey.
I know.
That was his pet.
That was his go-to. Did you have any pets growing up?
I've had always poodles because I'm allergic to most of the animals. So poodles are not allergic dogs. And I actually have right now one dog. His name is SpongeBob. Don't ask me why he's SpongeBob.
Where's Patrick?
No Patrick, just SpongeBob. He's a small Maltipoo.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And for you, what's been the hardest thing you've had to overcome in your journey?
I don't know. I would say insecurity. And with sport, I don't know because I was a child. But now, more like we were talking about the fire, more open dances I can do only underwater. That's when I can open up and get out of my box. On like same like Michael was saying that on land, I'm pretty shy person. And the things I actually do underwater, I would have never danced like that on land. That would not happen. And underwater, I don't care. Again, out of box and being all that legs here and there and there. On land, I would never do that.
So you would say, like Michael said, a double personality.
Yes. And it's only underwater. There's no other area for me.
So on land, you wouldn't do what you do in water?
I would not. I like to dance normal dances, but to completely open up passionately, only underwater.
So you wouldn't get on stage and like give everybody a show?
Some of the dances that I do, no. Performing on stage, I love it. I like, as I said, from the competition in front of crowd, like a ballet dances, I would do, but more like passionate ones, only underwater. Because insecurity, I would not think I look good like doing those couple dances on the stage, but underwater, I know I am when I see the video.
So how did you build that confidence?
By, I would say, videos going viral, and I barely get negative comments. And when I see what people say, that I actually look good, that I'm flexible, like a lot of times I would not think I'm looking pretty or something, but when I see the comments, like my community, give me that strength. I believe in myself every time, I'm like, oh, I'm not good, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like my Gemini coming up over here, I will look the comments and my community supports me.
So you use social media and its comments to validate?
I would say yes. Just on my own, I would get close and you would never probably like that on the streets, me walking, you would not know it's me really underwater. You would not say.
Wow. But for you, what happens if like people start writing negative things and that's your source of confidence?
I know I should not read them and I should not look at them. I don't know. I either gonna ask my mom or friends, Mom, do you really think I look like that? Do you really think that's this? And I have like couple people. I have only barely a couple friends. I have a lot of people I know. Friends, only a couple, unfortunately. But so they would give me advice and I will believe them, like whatever they will tell me. But sometimes I get on top of it. I will look 1, 2, and I will get upset. But then there are some people who will tell me, no, it's not like that.
Wow.
Sometimes I believe, but then I always get stopped.
Wow. It's interesting because as I'm hearing you, I'm just like, you talk about trusting your instinct to create your art, but then like
But
you're
then
relying.
people, but because they're outsiders, you know, like I'm a performer still because of my sport. So I put it out and then I need a feedback. They're my judges. Yeah, they don't know me, but still, right? So when I look, like judges, sometimes I'm not always going to get a perfect score. Not always I was getting it. So I'm like, oh, is that true? Because when I'm by myself, yes, I'm like in control and I think it's great, but not everything I do is great underwater too. Not all my videos are viral.
Yeah. And Michael talks about how, again, going back to like him trusting his instincts, but in the Jackson 5, their first 3 records were #1 songs from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know? And being able to have that kind of success at a young age does something to somebody. And you're somebody who started your career at a very young age as well. What do you feel like were the effects of that?
My childhood was, I would say, oh, it's swimming. I didn't even know that like existed. Like, you know, pretty much ever since I was 7, 8, I would skip school because for us was like, if you go to the school, then you can just stop swimming. It was one of those. If you try to tell something to the coach, oh, I need to go to school, forget about it. You probably should not come back to the swimming. So with us, I don't know, after practices, we can go to the mall, all of us. And that was my childhood hanging out. There was, I would want to say this, even with like younger age. So I started with the 6 years olds, right? And then I had to upgrade within a couple months with the 8 years olds. And then I had to stay 1 or 2 hours longer. And I used to have even some girls, oh, like, I don't know, I loved going to that one restaurant. And they would say, oh, poor you have to swim. And we're going to, let's say, whatever restaurant it was. And they go there and they'll get upset every time over that fact. But then with the older girls also, we get a community. And I don't know what I'm trying to say with this. Even at the school and swimming, I always was with the older kids. And yeah, obviously they mentally were more like stronger on that. And they would also teach me a lot of things that I would have not know about.
Right. But now looking back that you know it exists, is part of you like, oh, I wish I had that? Or you're just like,
no,
it's cool.
No,
like,
I have no regrets on anything.
wow, that's
Nothing.
awesome. I love that.
Mm-mm.
Go girl, go girl. Are there any favorite parts from this book that you enjoyed?
Where he was saying how he was feeling on a stage, and that's always was relying to my competition when I was doing solo. And also he was saying in that part that when they even had a team, let's say they have to do exactly this movement, and he was doing a little bit better, and he was trying to explain his father, oh, can we do it this way? And I also had that problem with the team. It's just like I really saw what he was in myself, because in a team, they would say you have to do only split like this, and I'm hyper flexible, I'm doing over split like that. And then I'm seeing how he was trying to find out what he thinks is right. I was trying to do same with them. So it was like, wow, such a person like Michael Jackson had same thoughts what I had on my, how can that even be possible?
I love it. Thank you so, so much for being here. It has been a pleasure talking with you. Where can people find you?
It's with the K, Kristina Makusha. So it's my last name, Makushenko. Short, half of my name and half of my last name.
Love it. Thank
Everywhere
you.
on all of them. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
So there you have it, friends. We just finished discussing Moonwalk by Michael Jackson. If you love this book and this conversation, get your copy today. Click the link in the description below. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear from you. Maybe comment your favorite dance move of Michael Jackson or the Moonwalk. And let us know. Turn the page and we'll see you in the next one.